Hello, warriors. I wanted to come in here real quick and give you a worry tool. Fun, right? No, seriously, I've heard from a lot of you that you spend a lot of time in worry, the state of worry and worrying, and I empathize because I used to spend a lot of time there myself. And I have addressed this with two different sort of some knowledge and then also a tool that have me now spending my days where I barely worry at all. I cannot think of the last thing I worried about because I catch myself in that worry loop. So the first thing I want to bring up is that worry actually can be a learned behavior. We might have learned it from our parents. Even we might have noticed they worry a lot, and then we worry, and we're just used to it. It's something that we're used to. And so that when we're sitting on the couch having a perfectly peaceful moment, our brain is like, pause, hold on, what do we need to worry about? Like start scanning the environment. It is used to worrying. If you picture the brain and all those grooves in our brain, one of the things you might notice is that your brain, one of the grooves might have a really strong pattern of worrying. And so it's helpful to note and then at the same time know that our brains, there's something called neuroplasticity. We can train our brains away from things that are not helpful for us. And I would like to point out that worrying is not helpful. So the one framework I want to remind you of with worrying is the thought model. Okay. And so if we are thinking thoughts that are creating feelings of fear, then the action, and it actually is an action, is worrying. We do nothing. We do nothing. We just sit around and worry. It serves no purpose. We feel a little bit, we're like, oh, well, I worried about it. But it actually ultimately leads to nothing. Okay. So say that, say my son is at college right now, as he is, and I'm thinking the thought, oh my God, I wonder if he's going to keep himself safe with coronavirus. And my feeling is fear and my action is worrying. I'm just sitting there worrying about it. I'm like, oh, okay. And we feel like we're being productive. We're like, okay, I'm doing something. I'm worrying away, or like with the election and your thought is, oh, this is going to get bad. And your feeling is fear and your action is worry. What will happen if, oh my gosh. And we're like future casting worst case scenarios. And what happens if my son runs out of sanitizing gel and then doesn't wear his mask and blah. Okay, that's not helpful. Worrying is not helpful. Wayne Dyer, one of my favorite mentors, says worrying is like rocking in a rocking chair, expecting to get somewhere. You get nowhere. Okay, it does nothing. I've heard of other people refer to worrying as sort of like praying for your worst case scenarios to happen. It's not helpful, guys. Okay, so your next question might be like, okay, so how do we stop this? How do we get out of our groove? And that's the tool. That's the tool I want to teach you today, and it's called the worry jar. Two pieces of this tool. Worry, when you notice that you are thinking worried thoughts or thoughts that create the feeling of fear and lead you to take the action of worrying, I want you to stop, and instead of not taking action, instead of just sitting in that chair rocking away, write down your thought. Okay, so I would encourage you to get out some sticky notes or something and write down, I'm worrying about my son getting COVID. Okay, you take that out. What do you do with that worry thought? I'm actually going to write it down. I'm worried. Okay, so say you write it down and then you put it in your worry cup. Find a cup. That's your worry cup. Okay, you put it there, and then when your brain, so say I'm making lunch and that worry comes up and I'm like, oh, no, I write it down, I put it in my worry cup. I need to then tell myself I'm not thinking about that anymore now. I need to change the channel in my brain. I'm going to think about something else. I'm going to go back to making my lunch, or I'm going to go back to cleaning the closet, or I'm going to go back to staring out the window, whatever it is. Okay, that is the mental muscle part where you write down your worry. Okay, and then you change the channel in your brain, right? Then the beauty is you choose a time every day when you get to worry, when you get to do nothing except think about these things you want to worry about, okay? This recognizes that it's a choice to worry. And then the second piece is that you have this discipline of worrying when you say you're going to worry. So choose a time for this next week. Okay, and set that as your worry time. Choose a time that you usually have free for yourself, whether it's 6 a.m. or 2 in the afternoon or 4 in the afternoon, whatever. Set a timer, okay? And then when that timer goes off, you sit your butt down. So you put it on your phone and you say worry time. Timer goes off, you sit your butt down, set another timer for 10 minutes and let yourself worry. Get out your worry jar, pull it out. What I want you to do is be like, okay, oh my gosh, I'm worried that my son's going to get the coronavirus. Okay, well, that would stink. What am I going to do? Well, if he gets it, then that would be awful. Maybe go to the hospital, maybe I'd go visit him, and maybe this and maybe that. And okay, let me see. All right, what's my next worry? That my husband's going to lose his job. Okay, well, let me think. And so let yourself worry. Go at it. And if that 10 minutes goes up and you're sort of like, not much, then good for you. Okay, but still sit there. If the 10 minutes and you're still worrying and like crazy, it's like, okay, let's put those worries back in the jar. I'll deal with them again tomorrow. Okay, try it this week. Every single person that does this, that actually, when they think the thought that creates the feeling of worry, they write it down, put it in the worry jar, and then set a time for worrying. Every single person that does this reports success at worrying less. Okay, because there's a lot of brain science behind this. If you want to know, I can go into it. But for right now, let's try it this week. If you were spending a lot of time in worry, try the worry jar. If you're going to do it, comment below, do it, and I will support you. And we will come back and do another episode on how it went and where to take it from here. Okay, if you have questions about how this worry jar works, put your questions in the comments too. I'm here for you. Worry used to take up a whole lot of time in my life. My family used to say that they were warriors. Warrior with an O, not an A. Warrior. They were warriors. And so it was in my blood, and it is not anymore. All right. Warriors with an A. Let's go.